Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome to Recorded Conversations, episode 9, with our guest Andrew, Mr. Pent himself, Howell. He's a dear friend from American football, and well, pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on.
Of course, man. What the
You good?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm all good. But yeah,
Yeah. Tell the audience about yourself.
So,
introduce.
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York for about 18 years, and then I ended up moving out to Maine to go to college at a very small liberal arts school called Bates College.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been pretty fun at Bates, but I was like, you know what? Like, let's go to London to go abroad. So I've been out here for about 3 months, having an absolute time. And
So you just here for the year?
I'm here for like another week, like just for the semester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I'm sad to leave, but you know, it's been a great time out here, and now I go back to finish up my degree in Maine. So yeah.
You can hear the depression in the voice. And you know the worst part is the deadline to choose whether he stays a term or a year was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
He didn't enjoy it back then.
No,
Yeah. The fun hadn't started yet.
I was very heavily considering staying for the full year. Basically at the time I got to London September 15th or September 16th, and the deadline to stay for the full year was October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And I was heavily considering it, and I was like, like it's a long time to be away from my fam. I don't know if it's the right thing for me. I do love London, but I don't know. And then 2 months later, I'm like, fuck you. Like, fuck me. Bro. Like, I should have, like, if I could tell my past self anything, like, it is to extend for another semester.
And is Oscar staying? Is Oscar staying the whole year?
Well, Oscar's full time.
Oh, Oscar is at UCL.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oscar's not affiliated, no.
Oh, fine. They now main star quarterback went to the same school as him.
Well, no, he
Okay.
went to a different school, but his girlfriend now went to my high school.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Good accent.
That was like, it was the most wild thing. I first come to like football practice that first day, like not really saying what's up to people, just kind of do my thing, and like I guess I start talking to Keenan, and then Oscar hears my accent. He's like, "Where are you from?" You go, "Brooklyn." He's like, "No way, I'm from Brooklyn." He goes, "What school do you go to?" And I go, "Poly." He's like, "Do you know like this girl?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's my girlfriend." I'm like, "What?" Like, what the hell?
What the world can be so small.
It really can. Yeah.
One of my best mates in school in Russia, we moved here. He moved like 5 years before me. I turned up like I went into a new school like 2013, in 2015, 16. So like I'm year 9. I'm doing Russian club. This guy comes in and says, "You Oleg?" I was like, "Yeah, my name is Sasha." And he gives his surname. I was like, "I think we went to the same school in Russia." I was like, "Bro, I don't know you. Like, you have a fucking British surname, my man. What do you mean?" He's like, no. My actual surname is like Yuldasha, which is like, and I was like, "Bro, you were my best mate in nursery. The fuck?" But yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, being in London, like, you do get, I feel like, a lot of that, like, it's a huge city, but it's a very small world. You run into people that have had a lot of common experiences, even the most, like, wildest fashion. And I do like that about the city a lot, I mean, I guess that's more exacerbated by being at uni, but still.
Yeah, to be honest, like that's what I found out in year 1 when I moved to uni. Like from school were also different, and then I get here, and everyone roughly has the same stories or like same meaning of the story, and we can all relate to each other. It's quite cool in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure.
Well, we can say how we met, or well,
Yeah.
how we.
That's a great story, honestly.
So rookie
Yeah, go on.
initiation night. I was the
Oh.
first one there. Andrew walks in and they say, "Okay, guys, you don't have to drink a pitcher of like of beer, but we strongly suggest you do. We're gonna tape your like left and right hand together, and then by the time you finish it, that's when you get untaped." So we spent like half of the night taped to each other. I thought I'm gonna have to drink 3 pints, and my American friend here would have to drink a pint. He kept up, like it was
Alright.
2-2. I won't lie.
To be honest, that was like one of the biggest compliments I ever got out here was a Russian telling me that I could keep up drinking.
Yeah, I fully did not expect it. And then, well, it got to the end of the night, and like we've been separated for a while, and like I'm chatting to you, I think, and it hit me like I didn't catch your name whatsoever.
Jesus.
So I like, man, I know I've been stuck to you for a while, but what's your name, bro? Like, what's going on here?
Honestly, it's great that you did that because looking back, I did not know your name either. I literally forgotten.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we met. Just duct tape and a pint of beer.
Several. But yeah, it's been
So
great.
the theme for the podcast today is America.
America.
We've decided.
America, fuck you.
Oh my god, that country.
So what do we want
What
to
do you
start?
mean that country?
That
It's your
country, that's your
brother. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Any specific
it's
sport?
my country. Doesn't mean I love it to death, you know?
Oh, I can fully relate to you right now, you know?
I think we can solve the war today.
Yeah, we really could. Like, let's get like a few.
Putin, listen to us. Come on, man.
Just send it over to Putin and Joe Biden. They'll be like, okay, this is our
Yeah.
pathway to peace.
They just need a mediator, like a good one.
Put a Russian American in a room, have them talk about stuff with beer. That'll solve everything.
Yeah, facts. Honestly. But they have too much of egos to deal with anything.
Yeah.
And one of them has tied hands because he's not controlling what's going on. My man's 74, he's falling down the stairs. He doesn't know what he's saying half of the time.
Yeah.
The word that describes America, you can describe America in one word.
Yeah, the country's just running itself now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the last 6 years have been very tough for America. It's been a lot of political change, a lot of political turmoil. I'd say
Well, like since mid-Trump?
since I would say even the beginning of Trump, actually even before Trump, I
Yeah.
would even say about
Well, yeah,
like
and
the
end
months-
of Obama's
Yeah, I
reign
mean,
when-
in order for a character like Trump to get into power, the country doesn't. It has to be in like a bad place.
No, but it was
'Cause,
also
like-
kind of both candidates weren't the best. Let's be honest, and it was just like half of the country was choosing one evil, the other country chose the other evil. They thought they were better. You know,
But
it
when-
was
when
near,
a-
near 50-50, if I remember.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was almost like my teacher, I was in like high school at the time. I think I had this teacher and he kind of described it best as like this is the election where everyone's voting because they don't like the other candidate. It was just like what like no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, you just hated the other candidate so you didn't actually vote for the candidate that you wanted. You just hated the other one so
Yeah.
much you didn't want to vote for them. And that was what it was like. And then during the years of Trump, those were not great. I mean, just each year kind of got progressively worse and progressively more radical. It was like, 2016, we were like, oh, this guy's nuts. And then like 2020, like January 6th,
6th,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it was January 6th. It was like, this guy's like absolutely nuts. Like just times 20. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? This cannot be happening.
But the economy grew, no?
Yeah, like that's great and all until like wealth
The
inequality
riots.
goes through the riots, wealth inequality goes through the roof, a pandemic, like the immigration laws are shot.
But
Like, this
he
whole-
kind of got stiffed, I thought, because he came at the end of his reign. And he didn't do much, and that's why I don't think he got re-elected the second time round.
Yeah,
But like,
Yeah.
I think really one of the biggest things about it was that I mean, I'm no politician. I study politics, but honestly, I do a lot more international politics stuff. But I think really a big thing was that I think just the Democrats campaigned a lot better, I thought. And I
That's
re-
true.
I think a lot of people, were really starting to get sick of what Trump was doing. Like it was just getting like worse and like, for example, my grandfather, he was a conservative for the longest time, voted for Trump the first time around. And a little context, like he's an Italian immigrant, so he immigrated to America like 1960s, I want to say. And he was pretty heavily in support of Trump until Trump like threatened to get rid of DACA, which if you don't know, that is an act that allows like immigrants to essentially come. It's the Dreamers. I forget the full name of the act, but basically it's an act that pertains to like immigrants coming into the country and kind of restricting
okay.
them coming in. And he was a huge supporter of that until Trump like threatened to get rid of it. And he was like, I can't support a guy when, I was like, I'm an immigrant myself. Like this guy, he's reached a point where this is way too much for me. And yeah, basically.
We have the same here. We have kind of a bit worse of a story. Our Minister of Immigration is
I mean,
Priti Patel, I
UK
think her
politics
name.
is a joke.
Yeah, it's Priti Patel.
It's just a full
I think
joke.
she's like first generation immigrant, so her parents moved and she was born here. And she's literally campaigning against not letting immigrants in, and we're like, well,
That's a trend in Europe though.
yeah.
It's very-
Like,
Once you get to the good place, you don't want the others to get to here.
oh yeah. It's funny how many immigrants actually are in favor of no more immigration. Like I'm here already. I've made it. You can stay.
But
But yeah.
I do have a question about politics that I want to ask. So many of you are like very radical, whether you're Democrat or Republican, and you all stick to like the one party you chose or your family were in support of when you grew up. Why is that? Like, do you ever change, or do you have an opinion? Do you want to change? Well, your uncle changed, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great question. Something like, since being out here, I've definitely noticed it's not nearly as polarized out
Yeah.
here. Like I studied British politics a little bit out here, and a lot of the papers I read talked about that, but also even just like from my own experience, I've seen it's a lot less polarized. But like to answer,
we do have like several parties. I think that's the thing.
yeah,
If we had more, it would be better.
it's very like
I don't know if better though. Like it's pure chaos all around Europe because of the fact that there's so many parties with like smaller percentages of the vote, and it's just pure chaos because no political party can go into government. In the UK, it's not that bad. It's
Oh,
like
that's
it's actually still Tories versus
Labour.
Labour. But in like Italy, Spain, France, even Germany, like
Yeah.
it's just so many different parties that nothing gets done because it's like three parties in power, and it's just impossible to pass significantly changing laws like things.
Yeah.
But isn't it like the same thing for America? Like your usually House and Senate are split. They did not.
Yeah, that's another issue.
it's a really, I mean, recently it's been, I can't think of the last time that the House, Senate, and Executive were all under the same party, but recently it's been an issue. Like,
Well,
just
definitely not. Well, since Obama came in, I don't think there's been a single presidency. I don't know
No.
about Bush and beforehand.
Maybe Bush. I don't know. I don't think so.
I remember, I think Obama had the House, had the Senate, and he was obviously Democrat. So I think he was the last time where the House had been majority
Wait,
Democrats.
first time or
Senate had
second
been-
time, man?
I think, I want to
Probably
say
second.
second. I'm not completely sure. I think that was the last time, though. I know under Trump it was split. Biden, it's been
split.
double
Oh,
split.
yeah.
It flip flopped a little bit. Well, actually, not anymore because it was initially Democrats had initially the Republicans, it was like split in the Senate and the House was Democrat. but it was one of those weird like American things where like it was like split, but there was like these like two Democrats who weren't really like
Democrats.
yeah. So it was really like not split. It was more just like gridlocked in
Yeah.
the Senate. Now the Senate was pretty much won up until a couple days ago when a Democrat actually declared as independent. Now it's a little bit iffy, but the Senate was pretty much won up until then. Then the House flipped back to Republican. So right now it's like more Senate is a mess and kind of like a TBD situation.
Wait, so you have the elections for House and Senate every 2 years, right?
I mean, yeah, it depends. It depends who's going for office. So like it's I think if I'm correct, it's
Or is it like state by state whenever they feel like it?
no, it's not state by state, but every 2 years there'll be like elections, but not so, representatives won't be like up every 2 years, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. Like I'm trying to remember honestly.
But if they're not up every 2 years, that means they, well, for when elections happen, the major elections, all places are up for grabs.
No, because there's some people who rotate, even for like, for example, during the presidential election, like there's some seats when when there was those elections, and then you had like the Senate elections, and you had the House of Representatives elections. There's always like some seats that are just unavailable, some seats that like aren't even up for term. It's just a matter of when they
okay.
come to turn. You know,
Okay.
it's. I'm trying to think. I think it's for the House and the Senate. It's every 4 years. They like it's up, but that doesn't mean like they're not. What I'm trying to say is that they're not all up at the same time.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? Sometimes every 2 years. Every 2 years there'll be some seats open. Every 2 years there'll be some seats open.
Okay.
Oh, fair enough. So,
How independent are the states in like politics in the US? Because like I feel like we see the US like a obviously like one whole country, but like in terms of like size, it's like
it's massive.
it's massive. So like the states way bigger than many European countries.
Yeah.
So like how does it actually work? Like how independent are they politically from like the White House?
Ooh, I mean, it's a great question, honestly. It really has a lot to do with like the Supreme Court, actually.
Mhm.
Like a lot of Supreme Court rulings will have like determined that over the years. There's like this principle of like federalism where it's like, state rights versus like
Mhm.
government rights. And basically, I would say as of the last couple of years, right? It's becoming increasingly state rights. So the abortion ruling that recently just happened,
Yeah.
that really solidified state rights a lot. And another ruling which was like
Is it just, wait, what was the state that passed the abortion thing? Or was it several? Was it just one state that passed it, or was it several?
so it was several. So
Oh,
it
it's
was
several.
this was the wildest thing ever. Just to recap, basically, like there was this Supreme Court case called Dobbs v. I forget the last part of it, and they were gonna hear, whether like abortion would be overturned. It was one of those cases where it could have gone either been like inconsequential, or abortion was gonna be overturned, or like it was basically like no one really knew what to expect from it.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was, for the like this case ended up leaking to the internet. So it was heard, and they kind of kept it under wraps, and they waited a little bit to announce it.
Oh.
But somebody leaked the case, and this is wild because this doesn't really happen. Like decisions don't get leaked to the internet. It just does not happen. in the
Yeah, there's
United
always
States.
interests behind.
Welcome,
Bingo.
Russia.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not one for conspiracy theories, but you may have to call up your father Putin and see what he.
My uncle.
Your
please.
uncle,
My
uncle.
uncle. He's everyone's uncle. Uncle Vlad. You may want to say hi to him. He's definitely
Probably
Hi,
watching,
Putin.
yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
I've been good to him. I've been a good American.
Stop the war.
Stop the war. That'd be really great.
I don't think he's gonna listen to that part.
Yeah. Just.
I tried. Did my best. Okay.
See, this is where Europeans think they have a chance. Like I'm I'm Russian. I know it's not gonna work. It's
Ah,
the
yeah,
way
of
I'll
course,
try
yeah.
it. I didn't even try it. But
Oh my god. But back to what I was saying. Yeah, like
Yeah.
this thing leaked, and then everyone was going wild. Like it was actually really weird because some people thought the conservatives leaked it because once the conservatives leaked it, a lot of states started putting into motion abortion laws. That way, once the decision was released, they could just as soon as it went into effect, they could
Okay.
just put the laws into effect. Others thought Democrats leaked it because in order to get to start building like tension before the midterms and stuff like that. But I don't think there's been any consensus on it. Granted, I've been out of touch with American politics for a couple months now, but
Mm-hmm.
basically, yeah, like once that happened, it like a couple months later, people were speculating, oh, was this actually the real decision? Was this the final one? And then we found out, yeah, this is the real deal, and it went into effect. And it was wild because it really gave like solidified states' rights. I mean, Roe v. Wade
Yeah.
was a consequential, like a massive Supreme Court case, and it's been there. It's been a huge precedent in the United States. Like a lot, it's been around for, I want to say 50 plus years now,
Mm-hmm.
and the court doesn't really. They have this thing where they don't love to turn things over that have been like solidified for that long, especially something of that consequence, where like it's
Yeah.
having to do with like fundamental rights and like state rights and like something like as like you know intertwined with all the political system of America and intertwined with the different laws and the foundation of the Constitution. They don't love. They don't really love to do that. There's this whole like constitutional theory like you shouldn't really, you know, touch those type of laws because the last time somebody touched a consequential like legal precedent such as that and tried to like do too much in the court was Dred Scott, and that pretty much in effect caused the Civil War. So that was like a
Okay.
huge like
I was about to ask.
yeah, that pretty much caused the Civil War because this guy in the court just went off. But
Also, like, if you change one of like the precedent cases, when not kind of have to put all of the cases that have been settled on that precedent back into motion.
so it's interesting you say that because with Roe v. Wade, that's kind of what's happening, where everyone is like freaking out now because that was a huge precedent regarding fundamental rights and fundamental rights like there's like the fundamental right to interracial marriage. There's a fundamental right to like gay marriage. Like
Yeah.
it's really so a lot of those laws people are really scared because some of the judges have alluded to the fact that they don't want to use that's the specific clause they use to guarantee the right of abortion. They've alluded to the fact that they don't want to use that clause for other rights and will be willing to repeal that. So there's been, I kid you not, some motions to like people have been talking like, is it a possibility that they could deny the right to interracial marriage or gay marriage?
Yeah, exactly. It's like there was like this. You passed this like big laws, like big changes in society, and now you're like going back to them instead of just like establishing that and moving forward.
Yeah,
I won't lie, like with how different states are in US, like you go to the West, they're kind of like some states like close together nearby, they have their own thinking. So like California, Nevada have one, Texas, Alabama,
course.
probably like if it's becoming so easy to have your own unique opinion, wouldn't it slowly turn one big country into several small countries?
I mean,
Yeah, that's the problem with the federal state.
yeah, it's
That-
really yeah. No, sorry, yours.
No, yeah. Unless it's like
expert, brother.
I'm not an expert. I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to. It's all like coming back to me, but it's like this is stuff that's been old, so I may get some of the details wrong. But
It
yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
fine.
Like for us, it's great. Like now I have more knowledge and I can speak on it
yeah,
Yeah.
more openly.
no, yeah. I mean, I'd say with federal, like, I would. I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, obviously, I don't see secession coming anytime soon, but
A
You
what?
know, I didn't see a
No.
Jan 6 riot coming.
I don't
I
think
didn't
so.
see anything like that. I mean, yeah, I doubt a secession would happen. But it's one of those, you are right in the sense that like there is this like conflict between like, you know, some states have some way of thinking, other states have this other way of thinking. And when it gets on the federal level, it can get a bit messy. But I think there's a little bit of a history of like, you know, Abraham Lincoln did play a very consequential role in being like, you know, secession, you cannot secede. Like he kind of like,
For,
Yeah.
for the dumb one who doesn't know English, we've had the same problem. Well, for the viewers, they will see this next week. But what is secession?
secession means when a state breaks, or like what the South did in the Civil War, where they secede from the United States. They say, screw the United States, we are becoming our own country.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, Abe Lincoln played a big role, and if I remember correctly, he played a very big role in, you know, saying like, no, like you guys just can't secede. And he kind of like the president before him, I do remember he was like, I don't, you know, secession may be constitutional, and Abe Lincoln was like, I don't care what the Constitution says, you are not seceding, like it's not happening. And since then, there's been a, you know, history where like nobody's even thought about seceding. So I don't think, you know, even different opinions in state would really cause
Nah,
that.
I don't think they can ever happen in the US like short or medium
But
term.
the thing
I
is,
guess.
like, this is not even America. Like, I've had this thought before. With the amount of choice that you have, whether, you know, it starts from your gender and sexuality, and then, you know, maybe we'll get on to age and what you think you look like, and so on and so on. But, like, we are trying to be so unique that, in my opinion, it's actually pushing us all further apart from each other. Because we're so unique, we have so many different opinions. When those opinions don't, you know, they argue with like an opinion of a herd,
Mm.
then you treat us as an outcast. But slowly, everyone's going to be an outcast due to some different opinion. And
Yeah.
if anything, I think that part is leading to more of a divided world.
I think it's also because the most like important voices in social media are very young voices, as in obviously when you're like a teenager and even until maybe like 24, 25, you're gonna feel like loud, like an outcast. You're gonna feel rebellious, and that's normal. And that has obviously, when you turn that into social media and that becomes a trend, it might look like the society is like completely broken, but it's not a majority of people that feel like that. It's just what you see in social media, because the people that are in social media are a specific age group. If you go out of that age group, you find, well, I mean, I think everyone
Yeah, but
matures
it's
in life,
because it
and
gets introduced, well, especially all of this stuff is getting introduced to a younger age group, which means everyone who's younger below them is going to go through that. And well, the older you get, the more chance of you dying out is. But also the fact that, you know, you're saying that there is this the hidden majority. Now, it's always the case
Yeah.
in Russia, you know, in many elections, it was like 65-35 when it got to the lowest points of Putin's reign. 65 to 35%, shit ton of people didn't come out to vote. It's because, yeah, you don't hear from them, you don't see them, but
yeah, of
you
course.
can get discouraged, you know?
Yeah, totally. Like I agree. I've definitely experienced myself with a lot of like discouragements where like I'm like, this country is literally going to shit. Like why should I care? And like why, like not why should I care, but like what am I getting, like how am I going to like make a difference if like there's so much against like everything and things are just going so backwards, you know?
Yeah, well, I don't think you need to try and say like make a difference for the whole country. You need to make a difference like for yourself. And if you get it right and you have a voice at some point,
Yeah,
you can try and make it right for the rest of the country.
you
Andrew Howell,
I feel like
President 2032.
In
Oh
politics,
no.
and especially in US politics, you have to start with the small group, then you can move on to like a wider group, i.e. like a state, then you move on to like a bigger portion of the population. Like you can build yourself up to Congress, for example, if that's what you want, or like, whereas I feel like in many other countries it's not that
Easy.
you have to make like the big impact from the beginning. But yeah, obviously, like I don't know how the US really works and like intrinsically, but yeah, I feel like you can start by helping a specific community and like focusing on them, and then you'll get a bit more attention from other communities, and you start building a community, and then you can actually make a change.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the most qualified to talk about this, so I really don't know like, how it like.
Yeah, we're treating you as the expert in US politics, but
I am
No,
like
it's because you have more knowledge than us. Also, by the way, if you want to reach for your pint, you also can move the mic out.
oh,
to
I
reach
would've
for-
loved-
yeah.
You don't have to go Spider-Man on it.
I did not. I didn't want to like knock into it or like.
Yeah,
I didn't
no,
want to,
no,
like,
no, don't worry,
move
don't
it,
worry,
So
don't
it like
worry.
breaks.
Don't
And I'm
worry.
like,
It's all
oh,
good, it's all
shit.
good.
No, man, it's a mic. Like, it's
Yeah.
not gonna break anything.
you can drink.
Dumb
Let's go, we can
Americans, you know.
Don't have many more days of that. Don't have many more days.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Yeah, but you turned 21. You said February.
April.
April. Shit.
Okay.
Fuck. It was February or April. Fuck.
But no,
yeah.
it's like 2 months off.
Yeah, but for 4 months sober, right? Imagine what you can achieve.
I. Oh man. Oh
Pressure.
my god, that's gonna be. I mean,
Depressing.
yeah. I mean, it's not like the 21 definitely sucks, but I will say it's not like you guys obviously know like people in America drink underage 100%. Like it is like
Yeah,
Well,
there's a
during-
huge
That's what I was getting to by asking your age.
Everyone drinks underage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like everyone has I've like I'd say 9. I mean, it is really like
9. Wait.
Nine? Nine? Okay. I wasn't drinking by 9.
No, I was gonna say like 95% of people I know have had like drink around my
Yeah.
age. Like
Like, it's not difficult to access alcohol in college when you're like 18, 19.
no,
No.
I mean it comes with some challenges, but if you have a fake ID, these they know it's fake when you walk in the store. But, like,
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
A man said like I think on Wednesday that he got a fake ID when he was like 14, 15.
yeah.
Like, no offense to you, but you're tiny. Like, I want to see you at 12, 13, right here, like 21. So me.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 16, I looked 15, and I was getting alcohol.
Bro, if I shaved this off, I look 12.
Yeah, I got my first when I was 16, and I mean, yeah, they know like when you're that age, like they know it's fake. They just don't really
They
care.
stick on the shop, they don't really give a shit. They'll sell you
Yeah.
anything.
It's like I'm would it like a 16-year-old walks up and he's buying like Smirnoff Ice. It's like, what's the worst that can happen?
They go hard from the beginning. Smirnoff Ice. They build up to a bud afterwards,
Yeah, like it's like these are like 4% things. Like I don't think they really care. Yeah, they don't really care that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, fake ID culture it's interesting. A lot of people have them. A lot of people use them to go to bars. I mean, it just depends, with the bouncers.
Thing is, like,
Yeah.
there was a shit ton of fake IDs, but back in school, it's been 3 years now, and no one really. No, why would you need a fake when you can drink like that? I guess that's one of the good things about Europe, because it's not
Yeah.
outside of Europe. It's not legal in many places to drink under 21. 21, like I think,
Wow.
for example, Dubai.
Oh, that's what you want.
I mean,
Dubai
yeah.
21. A lot of the Southeast Asia.
But that makes sense.
Yeah, but like, you know, the English colonies, or maybe in, I don't know about South America, or to be honest, Africa, but like, you can only 21. Canada,
Canada's 18.
18. Why didn't you move, man? The better
I'm
country.
actually the
Better
last year I
Canadians.
went to Canada
Uh,
for my break last March. I went over there because I was like, drinking age is 18, not that far from where I go to school. Like,
Yeah.
why not? You know?
do you need a visa to go into Canada, or you just literally show them a passport at the border?
Yeah,
I mean,
same thing.
as a tourist, you don't need a visa.
I've never been to Canada, so fuck it, no.
I mean,
I like, also you do understand I've only had a British passport for like 3 years now. So like it's still kind of new that I don't need to get a fucking visa to go into a country, because even into UK, EU, we always had to wait in a long, ass queue.
yeah, you just have to, like, when I went to
America,
the US
you
then
need-
Canada, because I went to the US, but I flew through Canada, so I had to like complete two like online
Oh
forms.
yeah, is Canada also
You get, like,
that
the
form?
The US one is called the ESTA or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I
And the
remember
Canadian
that.
one, yeah, it's just like a form. You just have to say.
Are you a
"Wh-
terrorist? No. Have you been to Iran or the the Middle East? No.
Yeah, I mean, when I go to Canada, last time I went, it was like they were just leaving COVID. Like the COVID restrictions were just like about to get lifted. I was going to Montreal, and
Mm.
when I went, I was like,
He just wants to see Drake.
yeah, like when I went, it was fairly. I mean, I had to show vaccination card, passport, and I fill out like a quick form. Most times, I don't like to get here. Like I did not have to fill out anything really.
Yeah, but you got lucky. Like England was the first country to say like stop to COVID. It's just a flu. It was for us. It was end of first year, so like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, I think I will. Last winter we went to Spain.
Spain is
still need a
horrible.
mask now.
We still need a
Yeah.
mask in public transport.
Yeah. Italy is roughly the same. A
Like,
point.
get over it.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
really,
no, Italy is not. It was in the summer, but not
Maybe.
anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Italy. They got rid of it.
Yeah, I was
Spain. When
just
I went,
gonna-
I was like, what? Like, because like being in here, being in like America, like we've been kind of done with masks for like a good.
Bro, you
6,
never
7
got onto
months.
the fucking masks in America. You're the only country who had like millions of people dying in a day, and you said, you know what? Fuck it. Masks are bad for me.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's-
no one used it here.
No, like when back in the day during COVID, you did like
Only during like the like lockdown times.
yeah,
Then once
Otherwise,
restrictions
yeah.
started getting lifted,
yeah, of course.
like you
Yeah.
would you go into in the tube, no mask on, no problem.
yeah.
No one cared.
For America, I mean, New York was different because New York's a bit liberal, so we kept it on.
You actually have brain cells back there.
We also got. We were the first place to I mean, besides Italy got hit bad. They were the first place to really get hit bad. And
Oh, I had a friend who was in northern Italy that week where they got hit.
Same.
And he came back and
My-
he was standing outside my fucking
My whole
classroom.
school was there. my like end of year and like end of school trip. It was to
Bro,
it was to
it hits in
Italy.
fucking February. What do you mean end of school, end of...
Yeah, we had the trip in last week of February.
Oh, shit.
Well, I didn't go on that
Yeah.
trip. I was skiing, so I took a different trip with some friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, because then we had to like prepare for exams and do the like national exam, like something like SATs, like it's pretty similar. And so yeah, they went to Italy, everything started going shit. They had to come back on a bus through France instead of flying back. They couldn't fly back. It was so fun. I was skiing, chilling in Andorra.
Shit,
I
I'm
was
going.
like- How you guys doing? 16 hours a day in a bus.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Alpe d'Huez from, well, actually like 2. Well, I'm flying out at 6 a.m. My flight is in, what's the time?
Well, it's 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's
So
been
you know,
11 hours.
Yeah.
But Shit, I had to ask. Oh, what do you get on your SATs? Because I've never asked an
SATs?
American on this.
Oh my god, I see. The thing is that like asking like essay, like people don't really.
I've got a score, so
I
I
mean,
can tell you mine.
You got into Maine, so
I mean, I yeah. I mean, I guess let's say the
If
thing
you
is,
don't want to reveal this information, you don't have to.
what's the
no,
top
I don't
score you
mind
get?
revealing it. So like the reason why I'm hesitant is because like there's like a thing. So there's a thing in America where people don't really share your SATs because you don't want to like. It's like
You
a
don't want to get bullied.
well, yeah. You don't want to like if you're better than somebody else. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a like oh like I'm better than you. And if you have it worse than somebody else, you're like oh like it's like nothing good comes out of
But the
sharing
thing,
SATs.
the thing is,
you
so
know?
like if you share it, like for us it was the same with GCSEs.
Hmm.
But when you go to A level, you got the results. You walk into uni. Not a single time have I had to mention what I've got on my A
Oh yeah,
level.
no one cares.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like if you go into uni, they can't bully you about an SAT score. You're in the same fucking uni, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. But it's definitely still like even then it's like a sort of like thing where it's like people like don't really like to talk about, especially I mean, obviously now that I'm out of college, like
Of
I
course,
mind
yeah.
less, but still like even like still a thing where people are like, you maybe don't want to like mention that.
Fair enough.
But
I
I'm
got-
curious. I'm actually curious. What did you get?
1500.
Oh my god!
What the
I thought
Wow.
1600.
Jesus.
1500's like 99th percentile. It's-
I got 800 maths and I got 700 English somehow. Thank fucking God. Second try, but I won't lie. I fucked my ACTs. I got 31 and 32. So I was like, fuck it, let me do SATs. First time round, got perfect score on maths. And then I said, okay, all right, I'll just focus on the English. The second time round, the maths, like out of, was it like 38 questions? I think I counted 16 were A's. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I checked it like 3 times. All of them are still A's. I was like, what the fuck?
oh my god!
But
Look at you.
That's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, so I got like a 1410, and that's like, that's solid enough. But 1500 is like very. That's
I
like
didn't get anywhere, bro. I didn't get anywhere apart from UC Irvine.
you see. You just never. I mean, I heard it's a sick school. Really, where did you apply?
Everything above UC Irvine, like top schools. I don't think
Fair enough.
I don't apply Harvard, but I go like UC Berkeley, Davis, LA, and I think and Irvine. And then I went like
MIT.
MIT, Stanford, most of the Ivy Leagues. Didn't get anywhere. But to be honest, you say your score, and I'm thinking like my brothers both had 2 attempts at them. I think Pav got like 12, 30 best.
Impressive.
Very. Think. Oh shit! I don't know if Dad said it. Ah, fuck! Oh no!
I put a beep.
Yeah, that hasn't heard it, but like, I think Greg got like something around yours as well. I think maybe 1390 or 1410, something like that. But yeah,
I would say like here's the thing with SATs, right? SATs they're very interesting because it's kind of like taking like any test in a way, but it's also not like taking every test. Like there are people out there that are really really smart, but are just don't do well in their SATs.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Either for like
I couldn't figure English out for the longest while. Like English is not my thing.
yeah.
Like languages is not that much of my thing, and it took me a while. But then again, can you like do fuck all of your school life, get a 1600 on the SATs just because you've been preparing for it the whole life, and then go somewhere?
Probably, yeah.
Because like you don't care about academics and applications that much. I think it was like when we got told, because I had like an advisor for this, she said 25% is academics, 75% is extracurricular, and wherever else you.
Yeah. I would say I mean I wouldn't say 75. I would say I can't give you a percentage, but I would say extracurriculars in America matter a lot for applications. A lot. Like if you get like perfect score SAT, you do like perfect GPA, like and you do no extracurriculars, you'll still end up somewhere amazing. Like but a school like Harvard, a school like Brown, a school like all the Ivies, they will be hesitant. There will be some hesitancy to take you on because they really value extracurriculars.
Yes.
And I mean, yeah, I think a lot of the reasons why I got into college is I had pretty solid extracurriculars. I was a 3-sport athlete one year.
My man.
Not a good athlete, but I was a
Right
3-sport
here,
athlete.
right here, you know. What, 20, 29? Wait,
29.
Come on, bro,
baby.
you can get it.
Mr. Penn, right? I was the first one to sign yours, and I was the first one to sign Corners. I knew, like, right here. right where it is. But,
That was so nice. I was so surprised about that.
you know, the thing is, I missed you getting it. I was literally like, that big dinner really fucked me, and like, we went out for a smoke, and I think you were out there as well. So I went back in, went to the toilet, I come back up. They've done. You start speaking on the mic. I was like, "Well, for fuck's sake!" That's why I'm not in the picture like that Ergi took of my table. That's the only reason. But like, I still blamed it on Ergi. Oh, and I know you're listening. You told me you're gonna listen to this episode because
Yeah.
Andrew's here. Fuck you,
Still your
Ergi.
fault.
Yeah. Get my highlights, bro. Come on. I've done mad shit on the pitch and you've got nothing.
Yeah, bro, you gotta up the recording, bro. You've missed. There was some significant plays that you missed during the game. It was quite unfortunate.
He's got the touchdowns, which is good. But yeah.
Dude, that's like the bare minimum. Though. Like,
Yeah.
you should be getting the touchdowns. Like, if there's anything you should
If
be.
he doesn't get the touchdowns, even I don't know much about American football, but I know the touchdowns are fucking important.
Like,
Yeah,
like for
for
anyone who
part.
watches it, like there is a way to, when you kick off, usually the other team gets the ball. There's a way to kick it not this far and like recover the ball. I did that. My man missed it.
He
I
missed
only asked something. I was like, bro, you can record and talk. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it was Ergi. When you listen
You
to
fucked
this,
it.
go fuck yourself.
Oh,
No,
this is gonna be out on something.
Respectfully, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
You know what? Not even respectfully. I got mafia friends as well, so I don't
Wow,
give a shit.
wow.
Thing is, Ergi is the first person, like apart from Vince, I knew on the team. Because like that first session I went to, I was standing next to him in this big circle, like before we went off. You know, just chatting to him the whole way there, and I think on the way back we went walked as well. So I do have respect for you, but you fucked it, brother. It's not my fault. You fucked it. But yeah, how does it feel to get your first touchdown? Because I know you said you haven't had one before.
Yeah, I mean that was really unbelievable. Like it's like one of the things. Like as a child, I was like, I really hope one day I get a touchdown. Then I left high school. I finished up football. I was like, never got that touchdown. And then
It was
just
Greenwich, right?
Hmm?
Greenwich.
no. It's I went to high school in Brooklyn.
No, I mean you got it against Greenwich.
Oh, Greenwich. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you went to school here in fucking Greenwich. You fucked it.
But yeah, no, like it was a surreal moment. Honestly, I was so unbelievably hyped about it. It was just, and it was like a very, very like important like point too, where like we had the prior game.
It was the first one of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like first drive, like
Yeah, that was a
very-
madness.
it was after a big loss, like it was just like a very like surreal moment, honestly. And like honestly, I was just more hyped that we like got it, and we like I didn't really like care about like me getting it. It was more just like the timing of it. Like I was just happy that we had like a touchdown like at that point, because we were just so low more like the last week after scoring no touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's what I think like this team has brought to me more than the 2 or 3 teams that I've been in school. Because I play rugby, basketball, football, and everywhere it was like, yeah, if you score, you're the man. And it's like team got 1 win a fucking year each time. Like any sport, like basketball, when I got to be captain, I got 2 wins, and I was like mad. Rugby that year, we still got 1 fucking win, and I was like, what the fuck? And we have a winning record here. It honestly feels like a family. And like when I was saying bye to Connor, I literally said this has been the most amazing like 2-3 months of my life, because I feel welcome, I feel respected. You trust me, I trust you. Like I trust everyone around me. It's just a great feeling.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the thing about football is that like, a touchdown cannot happen without every single person on the team doing their job
Yeah.
all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's a person that throws the ball, person that catches the ball, person that maybe runs it in the touchdown in the end zone, but like at the end of the day, none of that is possible without all other 10 guys in the field doing everything. The blocking, the routes, the running back, whatever he's doing
The
at the
fucking
time.
O-line.
The
They're
O-line.
mad. They're mad this season.
Yeah. It's really like, and that's a great thing about football is, like there's this quote, and I'm gonna butcher this quote. It's like have you experienced the epic highs and lows of high school football? That is 100% butchered, by the way. Like I forget the main quote, the full quote, but it's something along that lines.
Yeah.
And
Bro, I cried after the Greenwich game. I came off of a minute ago with a cramp, and I knew the tears were coming. I was like, okay. And that minute took forever. Like a minute of gameplay, it was like 5 minutes or 6 minutes. And then the final whistle blew, and I just collapsed to my knees. I stand up, and Bunny's there like, bro, we won. What the fuck are you crying? Just what the fuck, man?
no, that game, it's like you just have, it's such an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
But you're with your teammates through all of it, so you really get to bond,
Yeah, like I said to myself, I always, at the end of games, you see players in tears, whether winning or losing, or even in football. And like, I played so long, I never felt that. I was like, that doesn't exist. That this time around, I felt it. Like I was so exhausted, and I was so happy. I was just like, mad.
Yeah. No, and it's like that game I remember, like, the second half, I was just like biting my nails like crazy. It was like, because, for context, basically, during this game, we scored 2 touchdowns first half, but it was like basically.
And
just
they
going
scored
back.
one in the first half as well.
Well, we scored 2 in the first. Oh, they also scored 1 in the first
Yeah.
half. So, in the second half, we were just both offenses really weren't clicking. It was cold. Nobody
Oh,
really get
bro,
anything
we
going.
played out as a defense. Like that was the game, mad.
Yeah.
But
And it's like you guys made multiple huge stops, but like literally, if like you guys let up like one play, like we would have basically either lost or been tied.
yeah, exactly.
And that was just
The thing is, the safety play. I know half of the team is watching, but I don't want to take full credit. But I walked up to Keenan before, and I was like, man, how about we don't try and kick it and gain like 20, 30 yards and have to defend this much? We have 2 minutes on the clock. Fuck it. Like, get Barney to get a safety. We get booted down there, and we have the whole pitch to defend. And I'd rather do that because I know we can defend the whole pitch in a minute and a half. And then the fucking onside kick, again, I come up to Zoltan, I was like, man, if you look, they're not standing 10 yards, they're standing 15, kick a shot.
yeah.
Literally halftime, he comes around, like, get in, we're doing onside kick. I was like, cool. And like, it's so amazing that you go out on a pitch, you survey what's going on, what's happening, where are the weak spots. You come back, you tell the coaches, they take your ideas in, and you do the stuff. And I'm like, yeah, if I tried to tell my coach back in the day in rugby, okay, that guy is shit, let's target him. He's like, Oleg. We have a way here, We do this thing, like, shut up, you know.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, totally. And I think, I mean, that's also a sign of just having great coaches. Shout out
Yeah.
the UCO Emperors American
Yeah.
football coaches. Y'all are great.
Connor, Zoltan, Keenan,
Benny,
Sam.
both Sams.
well, it was Jesse,
You have so many coaches.
Jay, Bobcat. I'm not sure if I'm missing anyone, but yeah, Zoltan knows Neo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Zoltan is
To
really
my
good friends.
sister, yeah.
So Zoltan's really good friends
Oh,
with
to my-
a guy who's
The
dating
guy. My sister.
Yeah. So after the Greenwich game, I was chatting to Zoltan as we were walking up to UCL, and I was like, "Oh, do you know like this guy Henry?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." And I also know he's dating the guy's like your flatmate sister. I was like, "I should have
about it,
not asked
yeah.
them. I should have not opened this." You know the story, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is wild.
Crazy, yeah.
Can we get a tea pause? I want to get another drink.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back from the tea pause, tea break, whatever we called it. We've got a couple more topics to go through with you, American explorer, for the day. Want to start on gun control?
Let's start
or we-
with gun control.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we do also have a big Nerf gun.
Yeah, but
If
this
you-
one's
if-
better.
If that makes you feel more at home, we can bring
It's
it.
better for gun control. It doesn't work.
Yeah, there is no alcohol.
There
in
is
it.
there is a little bit of vodka in there.
oh my god, from the party still?
Yeah.
Oh my
You want a shot?
I'm quite alright. Oh my god.
But yeah.
So, what do you want to know about gun control exactly?
I don't know. I like the thing is, in Russia, guns are much like you can go to a shooting range much more easily than here. Here is just shanks.
Yeah.
Like if a roadman pulls up on you, there it's like straight death. Here you got a stab wound, you're bleeding. You have a chance.
You have a chance.
But like from your perspective of living most of your life there and now coming over here.
So it's interesting because, as I mentioned before, I'm from New York. So guns are illegal to carry. Well, not illegal, but
Oh my
very
god!
hard to
Thank
carry.
God they actually do have brain cells in New York.
New York, no, New York. They have brain cells. New York, they're very smart in New York.
We don't
Big
think that
ones.
about Americans, by the way. Just so you know.
I mean, you're not necessarily
Wrong.
wrong. Including I mean, yeah, Americans are not the smartest, including myself.
Although he talks in third person about like Americans.
Like, yeah, but it's true.
He's British now after these 3 months.
Yeah.
No, that's even talking about like, okay, Americans. Example number one is that Americans cannot do math. Like, we literally, since being out here,
what's up
two.
with that?
What's 2 plus 2?
trust me, I know that's about the extent to which I know, though.
Like,
Minus
why?
one?
Is high school education that bad?
No, I don't. It's not even. Well, that's a whole other topic. I mean, it depends. Some areas it's very good. Some areas it's bad. It's
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
practically based on how rich the area is around you, because they fund the high schools using
course.
taxes.
Same
Well,
everywhere.
Yeah,
Same here.
everywhere. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like
I would say. I mean, I don't know why actually Americans are bad at math. Like, honestly, like,
Why are you bad at math? Give us that
are
explanation.
you better at math?
I'm not, comparatively speaking, I'm not bad, but I came out here and I was like, wow, I'm not good compared to everyone else.
Yeah, but the
Mhm.
thing is, like, if you go to China or
yeah,
most
very-
of Asia, even as a Russian, where Russian maths is much more rigorous than most of Europe maths, still feel like an idiot down there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
feels like from the west side of the world, from like the date line to the east, it just gets progressively better.
yeah, I don't know why that even is. It's just, it's very interesting. I will say, like, I guess, I think what it really comes down to, I think the education systems are built a bit differently. So, in the UK, right? The way you guys do, like, work out here is very calculation based, very, like, hard data, evidence based. In the US, in terms of education, we have a lot more power of inference. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, like, out here, it's more research. It's more like, to, like, 2 plus
Back-
2 equals 4, except, 20 million times more complicated and in the form of, like,
And
Every
use their
single thing you do.
reference.
yeah, like, if I was just, like, in the US, it's like, you don't, you can kind of take something and create more of a creative spin on it. The way you write essays is a lot more, like, inference based, a lot more analysis based. Here, it's very research.
We'll
very
be so perfect. We know how to waffle.
That's all I know how to do.
I won't lie, I don't know how I got 76% on the entrepreneurship coursework. I waffled the shit out of it, put some facts in it, put some references.
I keep getting away with it. I'm
Yeah.
like almost done with uni. So like
My man
clearly
works
it works.
24 hours before a deadline. That's it.
I've-
He does nothing.
I've-
He gamed all Wednesday. And then
My whole life I've been told next year that's not
Yeah.
gonna cut it. Next year you're just
you're
gonna
in.
you're
It's
gonna
like,
fail everything. Like it's- What do I need to do now? Master's PhD to
Yeah,
prove that my
you-
system works?
You know that Mike scene in Suits where he says the same thing, like, they told me my
Yeah.
vision, like my photographic memory is not gonna work fully. Like that's how I feel.
I don't have a. Unfortunately, I don't have a photographic memory. That would have
I
been
have
amazing.
like, I think over the last 5-6 years it has deteriorated. I didn't have a strong one, but like a
little bit, yeah. Fair
little
enough.
bit exactly. But still, like
I just remember
fuck?
anything I'm interested
the
in.
Matrix is not that bad. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please.
Matrix is very easy.
Illuminati, if you're watching this, I'll accept the offer.
No,
Jesus.
but to get back to the main point.
Oh,
of,
we
like,
were talking about gun control.
You want to go on?
What happened to that?
So it's really, really interesting. I mean, sort of the same premise as abortion, where the states kind of can take it and do what they want. However, there is a fundamental right to you like bearing arms for self-defense. So there is that right where if somebody like was to come attack you and you harm them, there is a fundamental right to self-defense with a firearm. But yeah, it really, I mean, like, it depends. I think if I'm correct, you can buy a gun anywhere, but how hard it is to buy guns, it really depends state by state. Some states like Maine were actually, this is not
I
fact
tried.
checked. However, I know it is very easy to get a gun in Maine. You can go to your Walmart, buy one, and I believe
Bro, the supermarket sells guns. Like,
Yeah.
fully. AK, rifles, everything. You go to Walmart, you got one, brother.
Yeah, no, that is like a real thing. Like Walmart sells guns. I've been in multiple Walmarts over multiple states where they've sold guns.
Crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and some states I know you don't. I think there's a few states. Maine may be one of them, but if I remember correctly about America, I think there's a few states where you don't even need a permit to buy a gun.
Jesus.
There's some states like New York. It's virtually to get a gun in NYC is very, very difficult. However, you need like a permit to go through a process. But in other states, it can be very, very easy to get a gun.
I feel like I understand the reasoning behind being pro guns, as in, well, if someone might attack me with a gun in order to defend myself, I should also have a gun. But even if like that other person got the gun like illegally, like from like a black market, but then it's like a vicious circle. It's like the more people that have guns, the more you're gonna see yourself in the situation of being attacked by a gun.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, that's why, I think your crime levels are higher than most countries, cities, whatever. But also the fact that the lethality of those accidents is much higher.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because here you get shanked.
Yeah.
You
If
go to the hospitals, like, stitch me up.
if
Like,
there's a gun involved, there's a big percentage of like probability you're gonna get killed.
Yeah. It's like, it's not even just like the fact there's guns, it's just like the caliber of guns that you can get in America.
Yeah, of
I've-
course. Yeah.
You can get, like, these aren't just handguns. These are like
like
rifles. Like, you can
assault rifles, bro. Like, my man, you can
An
unload the whole
AK-47.
you can unload the whole clip into a school on a random Wednesday. The fuck?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting in terms of like, I wish I knew a bit more about like the state by state laws. I do know like recently there was a certain law in New York that got overturned by the Supreme Court, like a 70, 80-year law regarding like, permits and like gun control. But there's some states, it is wild, but you can really acquire. And I that's why I really do think like when I came out here, I just felt a lot safer. Like, even though
Yeah.
New York, it's hard to get a gun. Like, it is hard to bring a freaking gun. to
Can
get a
I
gun.
ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you
yeah.
ever had one pulled on you?
No, I've never had one pulled on me. I was threatened once when I was in Maine, but it was like,
Half-heartedly?
it was more just like, basically my two friends were being idiots, and they like already like made this person really mad in their house, and she was like screaming at them from her balcony, and
You go threatened by a girl with a gun?
like it was. So basically, it was like
No, but like, am I getting this right?
yeah.
Okay.
Like, basically, it was like I walked up. I didn't know about the situation. I see the lady. I go, "Hello, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Fuck you." And I'm like, "Well, fuck you." And she's like, "You say one more thing, I'm gonna go inside and grab my gun." And I go, "Bet."
Oh shit.
And I see her
Jesus.
and I see her kind of like make a movement. I don't even remember if she turned around. I see her make a movement, and I just bolted out.
The wide receiver came out on him.
Literally, it was just like, yeah, like that's the extent to which I've done it. But like,
Fair enough.
I would say like even in New York, where like guns, it's not real. Like it's a thing, but it's like you're not. It's much harder to get a gun. It's much less common to see a gun. Like people just don't have guns lying around in New York as
Okay.
much as other states. Even in that setting, right? Since coming out here, I've just felt so much more safer. Even though like guns are not that
I
common out
won't
there,
lie to
because
you.
like
It's got so much worse since I've got to England. I've been here 10 years, especially
Hmm.
now that I live in London the last 2.5 years. It's like I recognize the summer. I don't feel safe in this town anymore.
really,
Yeah, like
To be
you
fair,
always have to have a
London can
night out.
be yeah.
Like, I was walking through Moscow, Budapest in my times, like many different cities, Berlin, through like middle of the night by myself. Not once did I have to look over my shoulder. Maybe it's because I was a tourist at the time. Like here I'm a resident, but still.
Yeah, like if you come back home at night in London, you're watching your back.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of grew up that way because I grew up in New York, but I mean, out here, I've felt just a lot safer because of just the lack of, like, it was a
I
subconscious
can't
thing.
get
almost.
shot, it's only a shank. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's a subconscious thing,
yeah,
though. It's like,
like-
you're not gonna, like, because you could always hear somebody, like, if you don't have AirPods in, you could hear somebody kind of running up.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, but
With a
they
gun,
don't
you
run
can
up,
just-
they don't run up and shank you straight away here. I don't
No,
think.
no. Like for example, if I'm in Spain at night, I might put my headphones on and walk at night. In London, I don't do it. I'd rather like
Because
not
I
listen to
know-
music and just like be more aware of my surroundings.
A, B, but the thing is, I fully know I can take a guy now, especially thanks to American football. Like, I know I can put a shoulder through a guy to the point where he's done for. And then, so, like, I was
Yeah,
walking from
they have a
Scala,
weapon.
from Mackey's, headphones in, on a call, like, fully. But, yeah, when you're drunk, you have confidence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. You're inhibited.
Yeah, in terms of that issue, I would say like I felt it's just I don't think guns should be legal at all in America. I think like
The thing is, there's so many crazy and like very mentally unstable people in the world. If you give a crazy person a gun, you're gonna have like a tragedy. If you give a very crazy person a knife, they can cause some trouble, but like it's not gonna be as bad.
yeah, no, yeah, like there's just been, like a lot of shit, like the school shootings in America. Like, oh my god,
Did you have to do the training in school?
let me get to this. This is a great one. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I've done school shooting
Jesus.
drills since I was about as
4.
long as I can remember. Really long time. Like I want to say, oh my gosh, the earliest I can remember, and I'm guessing there may have been even more before this. The earliest I can remember is like 3rd, 4th grade.
Which is...
I was about 9, 10 years old. Yeah.
And that's built into your system, into subconscious.
We every single year in high school.
Is
we
it
had a
like
school shooting
once a
drill.
term, once a year?
It was more like a once a year type drill.
Mhm.
Okay, so better
It's like a
than-
fire drill.
No, for us it was like every time we had a fire drill, but
I only had one a year.
Fair enough.
It was like, what do we? And it would be distinct. Like, fire drill, you hear like the sirens go off. This one, you hear the lights, the sirens go on, but you wouldn't hear the sirens. You'd hear like just repeated like bells going bong, 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 and that's when you knew like, okay.
Are you sure it was the bell or the bullets?
No, it's like it's a distinct thing. It's like a bell like
It
bong.
has to be a different sound.
Yeah, and literally, it's like what you do is
Is it countrywide like sound or?
No, it's not like a white sound. It's literally like a bell, like a
Yeah, but like it's still a sound, a noise. Like,
Yeah.
but is it similar? Like the fire alarms, I guess, are very similar in most places around the world.
Yeah.
You're the one of the only countries that like have allowed guns. So I was wondering if like across the whole country it's the same sound, so it's recognizable
Oh.
anywhere.
I don't think so. I don't really know. The reason why there's just bells in my school is because that was just a distinct noise that they could use, and they had bells throughout the school because it was an older school. So, and they also had fire alarms. So it was like you use the
Yeah.
fire alarm sounds for fire alarms, use the bells for a school shooting test. But yeah, like in the test, what they do is turn off the lights. You go in like the corner of the classroom, away from the windows, shut all the curtains. Everyone stays silent. And
That one you actually have to say silent for.
yeah,
Because like fire alarms, we got told to stay silent. No one gave a shit. Like they would keep like
Yeah,
telling
of
us,
course.
that one, man, shh, like not a peep. But like, has it ever happened in your school? I hope
no,
not. Thank fucking God.
no. It's been like, no, it's never happened in my school. And like the crazy thing is during these drills, right? So somebody will go around as like a security check because like, and they'll like knock on the doors.
Ooh.
So you'll hear a dot dot dot, and everyone's like not supposed to move, say anything, and then just keep doing a security check. Because like, the whole protocol is you just lock up the room, don't let anybody in. If somebody opens a door, it's like, like
You
you failed. Yeah, you
Yeah.
failed. Like, and also like, let's say you're in the hallway. Let's say you're not even in like a classroom.
What do you
You're in
go?
the hallway. You just go to the
Bathroom?
closest room, no matter
okay.
what.
Closest room.
You hear that bell, closest room, they'll let you in.
Not even the toilets.
If that's, I mean, I don't remember actually. From what
I mean, if I was a shooter, I would go to the toilets. Shoot everything out, leave.
Yeah, I don't. If I remember
The
correctly.
thing is, if you have a fucking assault rifle, right?
Just fire that.
No. It's not even that. You can fucking shoot out a fucking lock. Shoot it out, no?
Yeah, but the whole point is that you don't make noise so that it's.
If the
It's not
fucking
really-
door is locked, like, if the kid has gone through this training since you said 9, 10, he knows what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the whole point is that like.
Police will get there soon enough to stop him.
Obviously, it's like,
Yeah, it's more. I mean, I don't know much about the tactics of them, but I think the whole point is delay as opposed
Yeah.
to actually prevent. 'Cause at the end of the day, the obvious thing to
yeah.
do would be to run out of the school. However, like if you're right near the door, the obvious thing is run out of the school or get out of there.
Obviously, yeah.
But at the end of the
Because
day,
you get out the front door and there's a guy with a gun right there.
yeah, that can happen.
At that point, you're like, yo, time out. Pause.
What's
Then you
up?
go back inside.
What's your
I'll
name? How
complete-
you doing today?
I'll complete the level, okay? I'll complete the level.
It's like I don't know. With that sort of thing, it's more just like
But like,
you just like if a kid's keying in on a classroom, there's not much you can do.
but the
It's
thing
more
is,
just
that the guy usually he is in class, and that's when he pulls it out. Like, how soon? Oh, but like the bullet noises are distinct, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's how they know to pull the alarm. That was my next question.
Like a
Yeah, I
bullet
mean, you're not
noise
gonna-
can be heard like.
what if he has a silencer?
But silencers, that's
It's still it's.
Oh, you will hear the people shout before they will.
The thing is, a silencer still has like a pretty intense sound.
Also,
it's just
like-
not that loud.
if you're using I mean, I don't know if it would be. I don't think it would be easy to get a silencer at all. I don't think it would be. I think unless it's homemade, I don't think it would be easy to get a
Fair enough.
silencer. But it's like, yeah, that it's definitely like a real possibility. Like when I was in high school, from the time like, let's see, when I was in high school, the Florida shooting happened. There was the there
There's
was
school shooting like every other week, I swear.
it's yeah
Like, and then the big ones get on the news even here, but still,
Yeah.
yeah like Sandy Hook was
I guess in states like in state news, you have it a lot more often, especially the ones where it's much more easier to get a gun.
yeah. I
Of
mean,
course.
the interesting thing. I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think of all the ones that because I don't. So there was Texas where it's kind of easy, Florida it's easy, and then if you want to go way back, Columbine was Colorado, which I think you could get one.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy Hook was Connecticut. That one was harder to get a gun. But that one was a really, I mean, it was like,
That was one of the first, no? Like
it wasn't
proper
one of the first
televised
ones, it was just a really, like, bad one.
Guess I say first ones. That's the one, one of the first ones that we had here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because it was just like, those kids were young. Like, those kids were really young. At the time, I was like, let's see, I had to have been like 12 or 13. Like, that shit was scary as fuck. Because, you had like, these kids were way younger than me, but like, I have brothers, like, were around that age. Like, that one was just, it was just so beyond fucked. And like, that is like the one thing that really is like, kind of made my views very like anti-gun was that like Sandy Hook was just like that. I also being in the tri-state area too, like it was very like hard hit,
But
Yeah.
just-
yeah, very close to home. Where's the town? Actually, I think it is called Sandy Hook, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not that far from New York. I don't think it's far whatsoever, and it's just like, it hit very hard, especially because I was not that old.
Well, I feel like we can step away from such a sad topic.
Yeah,
Step
no.
onto a
Move
happier
to
one.
weed.
Yeah, we have to weed. Well, what's the difference, Andrew? How's it going?
It is very, very interesting we out here. What you guys have, like the culture and sort of the legal aspect of it, is really like, it's kind of like what the U.S. was 10 years ago.
Okay.
Very interesting in that respect. Like,
Funnily enough, like I believe within the next 7 to 10 years, it will be legalized here.
yeah,
Absolutely.
you guys are at, like,
Absolutely.
I see the parallels, like, between what it was, like, the sort of thing where it's like, not kind of reaching that point where, like, among young people, it's not taboo. Among, like, older people, it's still like, but, like, people are getting used to it a bit more. Politicians, I think they're starting to like talk about it, right? They're starting to be like, okay, like maybe it's time
Yeah.
to legalize it, right? And that's sort of like what it was, like about 10 years ago in like the America, 10 to 5 years ago, you started to have these sort of like cultural shift, this conversation. You had states starting to legalize. Now more states have done it. Now it's even like the very hard right states have even starting to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Arkansas had an election about it this past like about 3 months ago, I think, which is like if you know anything about Arkansas, like that's as hard right as it comes. Like Arkansas, the northern half of Arkansas, they won't even sell alcohol, yet they're having talks of legalizing weed throughout the state. It is wild, honestly, and I definitely think like since being here, I've noticed those parallels between what it was a couple years back.
Fair enough. But
Good.
like,
Good.
thank God.
Yeah.
But like quality wise,
Quality?
Well, I mean,
maybe even like we'll get onto the price afterwards. But that was another thing. Like
Pricing's very high here. I haven't.
here,
pricing is insanely
like,
high here.
yeah, but yeah, it's true. But it is the same for everything. But
Jesus.
like, I've heard in dispensaries it's much more expensive.
In America,
Yeah.
so I don't really buy weed that much, or I don't really buy at all, honestly. But
Saving yourself.
that's actually true. I don't buy at all. But it's like, I think dispensaries is a bit more expensive, but it's also like it's got to the point nobody uses a dealer anymore.
Yeah, there's no like a still like a black market, like a big black market weed.
There is, but like not real. Like for example, where I go to school in Maine, like everyone just goes to dispensary.
Okay.
It's like everyone's like,
But is the weed better there or from a dealer?
It should
oh,
be
it's
better there.
Better there, and
Better
also
there.
Maine was one of the first states to legalize, so there it's very good up there.
Yeah. The thing is that's one way like the government can control the quality and they know that the people are smoking some good stuff, you know. They're enjoying it, but like on the other hand, it's putting some people out of business.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
again, like the drug scene, I guess in America is even bigger than the one here in UK. And there's a lot
But I mean, I
more
guess the
available.
people that produce the weed within the country, when they used to do it like illegally, now do it legally. Like they still do the same thing. They just now sell it like
But can
to
you
the
open up your own
dispensaries.
dispensary?
oh, I don't know actually.
Probably
I
need a
think
license
you
or something.
Can I think it's similar to an alcohol license, but I think a bit more stricter because it's newer.
Yeah.
At least I mean, dealers do just still exist 100%.
Of course,
And
yeah.
a lot of times they'll also just buy dispensary weed and just resell it. But yeah, I mean, or they'll sell homegrown stuff. They still exist, but I definitely like, it's kind of wild because like a couple years ago, like nobody would ever dare think to go to like a dispensary, but now all my friends are like, oh, I'm going to dispensary. You want any weed? And I'm like,
Sure.
maybe.
Hit me up.
Got me some, yeah.
How much do you need? Fair enough.
But that is only in some. It varies state by state. Definitely does. New York, it's been interesting because it just got legalized very recently. So
Yeah.
you'll go to
Yeah.
Times Square and they will sell you like from weed trucks. They'll sell stuff, which I don't know if that's completely legal, but it happens.
Crazy. Just go to New York.
I'll definitely see a llama like that after the weed in New York.
Oh yeah, I've been looking at that thing
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, no, I got
It's
this
very
poster
cool,
like
yeah.
a year ago, a UCL poster sale. Oh my, it's just the fact there is a fucking llama sticking out of a car. It's just fucking brilliant.
That's a very that's New York. A lot of weird stuff like that happens. you'll see a lot of weird stuff, and you just learn not really to question it.
Honestly, same here.
Yeah.
won't
To be
lie.
fair, yeah.
I think like
feel like it's
within
big-
the
big
last
city
month, I
vibes.
like walking to uni from here. It's a 10-minute walk. I swear to God, I saw a dead person like cold to death on like in a sleeping bag outside. The guy was just searching the woman like
Jesus.
she was like fully passed out, and I really didn't see any movement from her. Like even the bag wasn't lifted. I'm just walking like, my man,
Okay.
why are you stealing from her? Call an ambulance or something. Like relax.
London police, if you're hearing this, might be a dead woman somewhere around
It's literally down the street. You know
down the
what-
street.
You know,
Amazing.
like if you walk to Euston Square, walk underneath the road, and then walk out to the UCL main gates, literally down the road.
Oh, great.
You know where Anna lives?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, literally like a couple of doors down.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Great street.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Totally. Like, it is definitely. I will say, you guys have a very big. The drinking culture here is very interesting too. I think,
it is.
Yeah, I don't know if it's changing or not, because like I see a shit ton of Brits because they're doing the exact same thing. Like Brits, I mean like our age Brits. We have a group. I hope that none of them are watching, but but like fully, even they like every day at 5 they would go pop. Like that's the culture. The fucking dads of the family. I had a girlfriend. The dad or the
Yeah.
stepdad. He literally just after work he went to a pub till 9, 10, then came back, went to bed straight away. And you're
Yeah.
sitting there thinking like, my man, if you don't love your family, walk out, get another family.
It's that this
I
pop
mean-
culture is really like interesting because like I've heard stories about like investment bankers. They'll work and then like at 6 o'clock they'll go get a pint, come back, go do work, and like it's not really like that in America. It's like you do work. America's like you do work, and then you go out, and then you do work, It's not do work, drink, do work, drink, do work, drink. Like there's no like you don't have like a pub time, you know? Like,
Yeah, I feel like it's more European thing.
yeah.
In Spain, we do that too. Like,
We have siesta.
Yeah,
we have
siesta.
3 o'clock here.
no, but like, in Spain, you leave work, you go home for like a bit, and then you usually go to the bar, either like meet up with friends or even family sometimes, and just have some wine or some beer. Not drink as much as here in the UK, because here people get drunk every evening
Yeah.
after work, and like
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bit too much. But like we still drink every day in Spain. It's
But it's
very
not
common.
getting drunk. It's
Yeah, like
it's having a
you
drink.
get a little
not
bit
drinking.
yeah, you get like tipsy a little bit, like you get happy.
Yeah. I mean, like a conventional glass of wine with dinner. is, like,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing, but, like-
that's the most common thing in Spain.
it's common. It's pretty common in America, but I would say
Yeah.
there is a little bit less of a drinking, a little bit less of a drink culture than in America.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's one of the things I found really interesting about coming here. Is like you go to like, also like people here get drunk, which I kind of love. Like,
Yeah,
Thing is, it takes people a lot more to get drunk here than you in America.
yeah, but people still get there.
because you're used to drinking more
Yeah.
every day, like
Yeah.
big amounts.
Yeah,
But like, and
a couple of beers and a couple of people passed out on the street. for
everyone here gets drunk on beer.
Yeah.
Like it's like a typical Tuesday evening. Let's go to the pub. So can I ask what the fuck is wrong with this country and the fact that if you want to have a beer, you have to have a pint, which is like 560
68.
milliliters, 68 milliliters. Like, why can't you not have like a smaller portion, like a smaller
Well,
size?
hey, we're amazing at drinking beer in this country. B, do any other fucking measurements in this country make sense? Miles,
No.
pounds,
No.
stone. I still don't fucking know what a stone is.
what is it? Wait, what is a stone?
What's the
It's
fuck
like-
the stone? Yeah.
The thing is, when I was like 64 kilograms, I was 9 stone and 11 pounds. I know a pound is 2.2 kilograms.
Yeah, something.
So
like
what
that.
the fuck is a stone? How am I 64 and 9 stone?
Someone
Fucking-
measured a stone and they were like, "This is a stone." But yeah, it's
Well,
such
11
bullshit too.
11
Like,
pounds times 2.2 is nearly 25 kilos.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what the fuck is 9 stone?
Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But
Yeah.
yeah, like, and it's so weird because like, on the one hand you have like a pint of beer, on the other hand you have like tiny measurements for any other type of alcohol. Like you ask for a fucking vodka lemonade, and you get like this alcohol, this much lemonade. Like, bro,
Yeah, you guys like the shot glasses here are very, very small.
No, it's not that.
like it's
English
25 milliliters.
England is the only country that doesn't overpour. They underpour. And I don't know why. Like
Yeah.
everywhere in Europe, if you go, they're like, "Yeah, so how's your day been?"
If I ask for a
Like-
drink, it's like half of the glass will be alcohol, half of the glass will be the mixer. Here it's like
I was in Madrid last
1/10.
Yeah, last New Year's I was in Madrid.
Exactly.
Now you go like a drink, and it was literally like this tall little like skinny glass, and it was 3/4 vodka. I was like, bro,
And
I know
we see
myself.
that. No,
and
we
shit doesn't.
we see that as a rip-off. Like if they give us like the tube glasses with like the ice inside and like the alcohol to like 3/4, they're like, I'm getting ripped off here. That's not enough.
Wasn't even that much ice in there. I was like,
Or even
let's go. And then my brothers at the same time in the hotel, they asked for like a bit of vodka. They go like, you know, the little shot glass. No, not the little shot.
the shooters.
Not the little shot glass, but like the whiskey glass. They
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
got that full to the brim of vodka. They got
What?
so pissed drunk that night.
Jesus. Ah.
I don't
You
know
gotta,
if I can
you
say
gotta have the
this.
stomach to drink that.
The events of that night will stay between my family and Aggie because, bro, After that fucking loss, my
Oh,
brother
yeah,
did
oh,
some
yeah.
mad things. Like the worst, like the only thing I'll say, like it got to the point where he was having a fight with my brother, and the receptionist came down and said,
Yeah.
"If you don't stop, we're gonna call the police."
We'll let you know after this about the details.
Yeah, he
That's
was.
for the next podcast.
Yeah.
Well, if I get my brothers on, I'll actually ask them the fuck's going on there.
Yeah. But yeah, let's finish
What
off.
time is it?
Fuck you.
No.
We're not gonna do that. We are
No.
gonna talk about 9/11 just for like it's the last topic.
Yeah. So it's
Summarized as a New Yorker.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's a really interesting. What call it interesting? It's like 9/11 was something that really hits New Yorkers especially hard. Like
Of course.
it was very like a culture changing thing. I mean, even across the United States, there's people felt it, and I'm guessing across the world, people felt it too. But
Yeah.
it was really like for New Yorkers, it's especially hard because these are people that died are your neighbors, your friends. Like everyone kind of knew somebody who was really
Of
heavily
course,
impacted.
Yeah.
I grew up with many kids who grew up with dads because they died in 9/11. Like
Pete Davidson.
yeah, like Pete Davidson, like it is just it's something that like it's just a very it really like changed like the culture in New York and a lot of like changed the culture of like the America in the sense that a lot of people really became like very scared of like terrorism, the war on terrorism. It caused
Yeah.
that chain reaction. It just was like a really culture defining thing. It's really like interesting.
Well, as a New Yorker, how do you feel about like these conspiracy theories? Like as a European, there is now, I guess, because it's died down. It's been over 20 years. People say, oh, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. There's actually like USA doing an own bombing. Like,
No,
how do you
no.
respond to that as a New Yorker?
I tell anybody that's doing conspiracy theories about 9/11, saying all this stuff, like, there's this one politician who was like, oh yeah, 9/11's not real. And I'm like, honestly, go fuck yourself. Like, literally,
Not
like,
real.
Marjorie Taylor
Sorry, are
Greene-
the towers still there?
yeah, like, they were like, oh yeah, like, it did happen. Like, it was, like, I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, it really,
Yeah.
like, it's something that even as a person who wasn't directly affected, like, throughout every year, and this is like this I think was exclusively New York thing. When I go up to Maine, they don't really do this, but like every year at 9/11, my high school would do like a memorial. Like it would be a 9/11 memorial honoring those who went to my high
Mhm.
school and who like died. We
Yeah.
go to the school garden and they have like trees planted for them, right?
Yeah,
And there'd be a little bit like of a service, everyone would dress up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And-
we not to interrupt, but like something similar for World War One in my school. Like every year they would read out the names of people who were at school or got drafted in school,
Yeah, yeah.
and so on and so on.
Yeah, we also have that in Spain too, like some like
Is it World War
terrorist
One or World War
attacks.
Two for you? Just quickly off topic.
No, terrorist attacks.
Okay.
In like inside of the country, terrorist groups. Like there was several around like 18s, 90s. There was a lot of terrorism. Not as big as 9/11, but yeah, obviously it did have a big impact in society.
And yeah, it was very interesting when I go up to Maine, like not being the first time I went up to Maine, it was almost surreal. Like I was like, it's 9/11, but nobody's really like it's like in the back of everyone's mind, but nobody's really like talking about addressing it. Whereas when I was in New York, like this was like a central like this was all for the last like some odd years, like it was always like a central topic,
Yeah,
Everyone
but the further away you get from like New York, the less important it becomes. Like
Yeah. I've always been curious like what the like foreign perspective on that was because in America it was such like a defining thing, but I've always
it was definitely a big shock.
Oh,
At
and
least,
my parents were there through the summer. They did like a round trip, and my mom was like, she was pregnant with me, so technically I did that trip as well. But like literally when they went from
Yeah, same. Like I
Moscow
was
to
in the
London,
room.
yeah, to London, then to New York, Hawaii,
Oh,
I think South Korea or China, one of the towns, and then back to Moscow.
Jesus.
And like
It's a big
they
trip.
said, like, yeah, it was still there when we went. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen the clips of like live coverage on like Spanish television of like the whole thing, like how it started off. Like the information we were getting in Spain was like in the first like hour, it was like apparently like a small plane has hit one of the towers. Then it moved to like, oh, there's like a big plane, and now the second tower was live already, like on camera. So it was like, yeah, people were like the people didn't understand what was happening.
Yeah.
And like it was a shock, the fact that we were seeing for the first time, I guess, the US being that vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yeah.
Really.
Yeah, and be like, oh shit, like this is
You've been
happening
like
in New York.
Exactly. You've been a major powerhouse since the World War. Like the last time you've had war on your own soil was the Civil War.
Well,
And since then there was a Pearl Harbor
yeah,
attack.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, but brother, you got a Pearl
Exactly,
Harbor
like-
attack where what your navy got destroyed. You massacred two towns with an atomic bomb.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you since then no one messed with you. And then this happened.
Yeah, I mean, that is a whole other thing about
Yeah,
what the Americans
of course.
do. That was just completely a political play, those two bombs, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, it was like it's really interesting you guys like say that, because like I never really thought of it that way. It's like the first time where America's really been vulnerable, you know?
Yeah, from the
And-
outsider, yeah, it was like,
Yeah,
wow.
and like we mentioned the Esther, the ESTA.
ESTA, yeah,
Yeah,
ESTA.
like that's one of the reasons why you're a terrorist.
Yeah,
You've been in
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
countries recently. That's why it's there, because fuck knows, man.
Yeah.
You'd rather be safe than sorry.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. It's definitely like, it's also like the Islamophobia that kind of preceded it, that came after 9/11, was really like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
there's a lot of
It's-
Islamophobia.
It's understandable, but obviously it's wrong. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and then also the war and terror was really like, it's interesting because, you know, if I remember correctly, 9/11, the attackers were not from Iraq nor Afghanistan. Yet we ended up going into both of those countries.
Yeah.
It was very like, they were Saudi Arabian, they were Egyptian, a few other nationalities, but it ended up spiraling into huge international wars across Asia, and like it's just like, it's one of those things that like growing up as a kid and being in the like, you know, especially like I was born about, let's see, that was September 2011. I was born about 7 months after that, I want to say. Yeah, 7 months after.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah,
like 2.5
true,
months
yeah.
after.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
being like, you know, there during the direct like post 9/11, the grieving stage that went on for a couple years.
My man, you
Go
were born 7-8 months later.
Mm.
Doesn't mean you have memory till about 3 years old.
Yeah, but also the impact of 9/11 was so huge that like
Like,
they
how-
had years and years.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe
That-
not like
that was
a
my mistake.
specific memory of like
Yeah.
that, but like the growing up memory.
The growing up, like being in that environment,
Yeah.
post 9/11 environment, was really like it just altered the way people thought. You know,
Yeah.
people were a lot more like, they're a lot more they were a lot more like, for example, you know, you were saying before like how like America, like nobody touched us, and people sort of had that mentality. We're like, oh, it's safe,
Yeah.
it's New York, you know, obviously there's bad neighborhoods, but like we're fine. Like
We're
people
safe, yeah.
people now, like it's very like, they have this thing where it's like, you know, this idea that like anything can
Or
happen.
anyone.
Anyone, you
Yeah.
are like, no matter where you are, you know, there's still a low degree of like
Yeah.
of how like unsafe you could be, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, when you get hit that close to home, like people are like, you can never really be safe.
And like the closest I've been is there was an attack in Nice. Like a truck drove through a crowd on
Yeah.
one of the like it's Bastille Day. It's like the main prison in France. I think in Paris. God, like liberated people escaped on
Yeah.
the 14th of July. I was an hour drives away from there. Like my mom's relatives messaged her like, "Are you okay? Have you been here? Anything's happened?" And that was the closest. But
I know three girls with the Nice attack, like, and it's funny how like they would have been on that street at the exact moment where the attack happened, and like pure coincidence in life, like one of them I think forgot something in the flat, so they went back to get it. They walked downstairs, they opened the door, they went out, and they started hearing like the shouting and everything. So it's like by like a couple minutes, like the difference between being alive and being dead.
Yeah. No, totally. That's
It's crazy.
that's
Yeah.
scary. Are you like? I know, like with Europe, like you guys in Europe had a lot of terrorists, had some experience with
Hmm.
terrorist attacks as well, like in very recent years. What like there's Paris, there's
Yeah.
Barcelona, like what has been like? I'm very curious to hear like the like consensus, not the consensus, more like the thoughts on that being in Europe and like how, because these were also a bit older, like. You guys were like the Paris was like 2015, correct?
But
Yeah, I think.
what's his name? The artist, something Charlie Hugo, Charlie.
Yeah.
Hugo?
Well, there was another one. There was the one with the stadium, and then
Was it
Yeah.
not the same night?
I think it
Because
was.
that got hit, and then I think on the same night the offices got hit.
oh, maybe
So I
Yeah,
think it
the
was.
office
I
for,
think
Le
Paris was.
Parisien.
Yeah, it was straight after I think a France Germany game because that
Hebdo. Charlie
Charlie
Hebdo.
Hebdo. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and like I'm curious, like growing up in Europe and like seeing that sort of stuff, like what your guys' reaction.
I don't know about you.
I can tell you in Spain, like the Barcelona one, it wasn't as big of a shock as when we had March 2000 and I think it was actually 2001. I think March 2001 we had like these inside like nationalist terrorist group. We did like an attack in the underground in Madrid, killed like a shit ton of people too, and that was a much bigger shock than the one in Barcelona. It went like obviously it was like big news for like a few weeks and months, but then nothing really. It wasn't that big of an impact. I'm guessing because it was one more of a series of attacks that were going on in Europe, so it's like it's a more general thing.
Yeah, in England it didn't hit us that much because here terrorist attack is
Well, yeah,
guy comes stands on the bridge starts shanking people, and but the worst it got is that every trip we had as a school, no matter
I
where
mean
we got.
the
got,
IRA
like,
had some big attacks.
Yeah, but I missed that. I missed that, so I never got to experience that. And
Yeah, of
by the
course,
time
yeah.
I got here, it was not a topic. And then by the time, like, over the last 10 years, there's been several attacks in Russia, and
Yeah.
ISIS has been outlawed legally in the country. But, like, I missed that as well. So for me, it, like, as I say, Nice was the closest I ever got. Like, I don't count there was a couple of stabbings, big stabbings, I think 2 3 years ago, I think just before COVID, because I remember having an outcry in my class like next morning. I was like, guys, why the fuck are you posting a video of someone stabbing and then getting shot by the police
Yeah.
because they stabbed on your Insta? Like, imagine how fucking insensitive it is, how
Yeah.
fucking retarded that is.
Yeah.
Like, you can hear the screams, the shouts, the everything. I don't want to see that.
Mm.
Like, why are you giving that man more publicity?
Mm.
And that's the worst
Yeah.
thing. I've
Yeah,
encountered.
it's always the debate there on like, should you show the pictures?
No,
Should
no,
you
no. Like
hide
you know,
them?
you know. Like after the France thing, everyone had like the France flag on all social media.
Oh,
Yeah. But like here, it was an actual video of a guy stabbing people on the by the parliament on over that bridge, and I was like, the fuck. Like you don't, you can put a post or a picture of commemorating the people or like celebrating the people who are in the wrong, like who died in that accident, but you don't show the video of them dying or the guy who was stabbed and died.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no. It's definitely because it's also, I mean, yeah. You don't like, why would you show the violence of it, Like it's also just disrespectful to the victim, disrespectful to the victim's family.
Exactly.
It's because they have it's a
Yeah,
constant. Everything
yeah.
on the internet stays on the internet, and like,
Yeah, of
Exactly.
course.
it's a
Like,
constant.
you don't want the
reminder.
highlight really, you know?
Yeah,
it's a
the,
constant
the
reminder of
moment
what
something
happened.
is uploaded, it's there forever.
Yeah,
Like even if you delete it 5 minutes after, like it's there, and someone can find it. Like, yeah,
yeah, no, for sure.
Right.
yeah.
That covers
wrap up, yeah.
most of the America questions we've had for you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
It's a
an
really
absolute
interesting
pleasure
podcast,
to be
yeah.
on here. I mean, it's been like I love to talk about these things. It's great to hear like different perspectives, global perspectives, because I'm not used to hearing I'm not used to hearing these perspectives. So it's great to hear like not only
Yeah.
answer questions but hear your guys' take on it.
Yeah, and then that kind of is the main point of this. Like, everyone has a story. That's how we started this. Everyone
course,
has a
yeah.
story.
everyone has
something to
something to tell.
It's
Yeah,
always like, and I guess in a way we try to promote a way where people can talk about different things, have confronting opinions, talk it out, see what the other person's opinion is, maybe go away from it learning something.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
No, and like, man, I'm gonna miss you a shit ton next
Hmm.
year. Have a great trip back home, and hopefully see you either in May or somewhere down the line.
Hopefully I'm back. I'm gonna miss you too, bro. I told you I love this city. I love the people here. Love all the homies I made on like during my time here, and I would be back in a heartbeat.
Look, if you need a bed to sleep while you're in town,
Of course.
we've got a blow up bed right here, easy, anytime,
Bro,
anytime.
I'll take the like floor, honestly. I'll take the bare minimum.
Honestly, the couch is pretty comfy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you, like, no offense, but you can fit it
You can
between.
fit, yeah.
I have to put my legs up, I try to stand up in the morning. I don't have any blood in them. I don't feel that. But otherwise, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure. And yeah. Well, next episode is Alfie and Tiv. That's a Christmas
It was
episode.
Christmas Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on Christmas Day. So before that, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and well, hopefully Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Thank you all for having me.
With all my being, with all of with my heart. With all my being, with all of with my heart. With all my being, with all of with my heart.
Peace.